Hello and welcome to this video. The great Martin Popoff, the great writer on rock and YouTuber, recently had this idea of going through a band's catalogue and saying what the best track off each album is. And everyone's copying it now. Of course, Scott Lady, dude looks like a lady over at the prog corner. He was straight in there, you know, obviously often bereft of ideas because he's literally painted himself into a corner by calling his channel the prog corner. So he can't cover any other music now, you see. That's his problem. So he's desperate for any idea. So straight off he was doing it. And I sort of thought, I'm not going to do that. And then I thought, yeah, shall we have a go at it? It's just too good of an idea. And if this works and gets the views, then I can go through all the bands, you know, and just say what their best track is. But you know me, I ain't going to be doing the best tracks. What's the point in that? There's no fun there. I'm going to be doing the worst tracks on this video. The worst tracks on each album. Now, I've just gone and got my collection, here it is, of Led Zeppelin's albums. There's all Led Zeppelin's albums here, except for like the BBC live album. I'm not going to bother with that, and how the West was won. I ain't got that, or the DVD, I ain't got that. But as sort of the albums, I've got them all here, including Song Remains the Same. I put that live album, so there's no consistency here whatsoever. I'm going to be going through album by album, and I'm going to be telling you what I think is the worst track on the album, but I'm going to do it different to Martin and Scott and everyone else who's copying this idea, because not only am I not going to do the best tracks, I'm going to do the worst tracks, but, right, they better not run out of battery, because it's flashing, it's going to run out of battery now, and I've got it plugged in. Why isn't it working? Right, because I have not decided yet. No, I've got the albums here, and I'm going to go through them, and we're going to work it out together. So, of course, 1969, this album comes out. We've got Good Times, Bad Times on here, Babe, I'm Going to Leave You. You Shook Me All Night Long. Dazed and Confused. We've got Your Time Is Going to Come. Black Mat Inside. Communication Breakdown. I Can't Quit You, Baby. And How Many More Times. Now, what's the greatest track on here, would you say? Well, you know, the sort of the most popular track is Communications Breakdown. Good Times, Bad Time is an incredible first track, and really, you know, Bonham states his claim there. They're both great. Dazed and Confused, of course, is classic. How Many More Times is classic. We do have the rip-off that is Black Mountainside, which says here by Jimmy Page, which isn't by him at all. It's by Bert Jansch. It's called White Waterside, and he's ripped that one off. But I like it. And he does add a tabla to it, so he does something with it. You know, he should just put the credit on. In terms of the cover version, it's absolutely great. So he really comes. Oh yeah, of course we got "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You." That's so heavy. It's so heavy and so acousticy. It's almost like it really, of all the tracks on this album, delineates a Led Zeppelin sound. Now we come down to these two electric blues, right? I mean, some people could do it. Led Zeppelin at this point, I don't think were that good at it. I know they did it, and I know it's heresy to say that. I think by Led Zeppelin III, when they did Since I've Been Loving You, they'd found their way of doing the slow blues. And then what thing is, because they welded it with the English aesthetic. This is what it's all about. Here, it's a bunch of British people trying to play the blues, you know. Now, of course, I Can't Quit You, Baby has gone down in history as being, you know, a sort of classic tune, I suppose, by Zeppelin. Whereas You Shook Me, I mean, that's the worst track. So on this album, I am going to offer You Shook Me by Willie Dixon. Their cover version on here is the worst. And it's not that bad. It's pretty good. That's a pretty good. I would enjoy listening to it. Of course, they then go out on tour and they start to become the biggest band in the world. But by 1970, they are the biggest band in the world. And they've sold more records than most of all the bands that have existed in the 1960s. It's quite a shock, actually. When I had a book, and it was called The Biggest Selling Albums of the 1960s, there was 100 albums in there. And then when you got to the last five, Led Zeppelin I and Led Zeppelin II were in there. I thought, my God, they've only been doing 1 year, and they've beaten all this bloody Creedence Clearwater Revival and the Doors, beat them all. So whilst they're on tour, they're ducking into various studios and recording this album, which takes the ideas on the first album and extends it out. There's a lovely bit of airbrushing for you. You know, somebody out there living with their DeVille Biss airbrush thing. I used to be a bit of an airbrusher when I was young. I was quite fascinated. So I would look at that there and go, oh, that's very interesting. They've got the old airbrush out there. A lot of very clever masking going on. Now this, unlike the first album, I think is more inconsistent. Let's go through it. Whole Lot of Love, that's like the track on it. Can't have that. What Is and What Should Never Be. Robert all gets hippified now, doesn't he? Oh, that's a lovely tune, that is. The Lemon Song, right? The Lemon Song is a way better blues rock adaptation. Of course, they put it down being them. It's not by them, is it? See, who's it by? Is it by Muddy Waters or something like that? I don't know. Thank You, classic songwriting. And the Lemon Song is different because it's not a slow 6/8. It's more funkier. And John Paul Jones just is incredible on that. Side 1 of Led Zeppelin II. That's pretty much masterpiece all the way down, isn't it? They're all great. So we're definitely looking at a track on side 2, and I think this is where it gets a bit patchy. Heartbreaker. I mean, it's a classic Zepp's tune, but I always felt that that's a little bit knuckle-headed for them. It's pretty much just a real sort of cruddy pentatonic riff. Not much goes on. Of course, Jimmy Page does that big guitar solo in the middle. Living Loving Maid, it's all right, throw away. Ramble On, brilliant. Moby Dick. Bring It On Home. Bring It On Home when it kicks it up. You know the bit at the beginning when Robert's going, I don't like that bit. But I think it has to be Moby Dick. I hate to say this, I'm a drummer. The bit at the beginning, the riff's great. I would say it's somewhere between Heartbreaker and Moby Dick. It's Moby Dick. That's the worst one there. So what the worst track so far? You Shook Me All Night Long and Moby Dick. Right. So Led Zeppelin III. Here we go. This is the one here. I have 2 copies of this. This is the expanded version, which has got all the older. Does all that, you see. Whoa, look at that. Brilliant stuff. Right, so let's have a look at this one, shall we? So, of course, it opens up with the Immigrant Song, classic Led Zeppelin. Friends, weird but amazing. Celebration Day, brilliant. Since I've Been Loving You, absolutely sublime. Out on the Tiles, now that is one of my favourite Led Zeppelin tunes. That's a real Bonham-fueled track. Gallows Pole, it's all right. I know it's a classic one of theirs, but for me, it's a bit of a sort of rip-off of a traditional tune made famous by old Lead Belly. Then we've got Tangerine, a very nice little track. Then you got That's the Way, that's fantastic. Bronny or Stomp. And then Hats Off to Roy Harper. And now again, Hats Off to Roy Harper is this sort of pastiche of the blues. But I'm not keen on Bronny or Stomp either. It's all right, though, isn't it? It's got to be Hats Off to Roy Harper, hasn't it? It's that... I mean, these are just silly things they've done just to, you know, make you laugh almost, isn't it? So yeah, it's got to be Hats Off to Roy Harper. Now I'll tell you a story here because it's not just about me going on about the Led Zeppelin tracks I don't like. I'm going to find this quite hard because I love all these albums and they're all amazing to me. When I was playing with Robert Plant, I hate to mention the fact that I play Robert Plant, but none of you have you? Unless it's somebody who has played for Robert Plant, like I don't know, maybe. Who's played with Robert Plant? I don't know. Phil Collins is watching this. He might go, well, I'd play for Robert Plant, Andy. But none of you have. So I think it's quite sort of, you think you're being clever, don't you? Well, Andy's going on about the fact he played with Robert Plant all the time. And you go, oh, isn't he? Yeah, he always does that. I think, oh, yeah. But you don't, do you? You know why? Because you haven't. But if you had, you would, right? You know, until he walks in the man's shoes, keep your gob shut. I'm sick of hearing this all the time. It's like, and it was funny the first time people said it, but now it's not funny. So, if you want to hear my stories, then stick around. If you don't, then sling your hook. So, anyway, I was playing with Robert Plant. It was on the Van Morrison tour, actually, when we were doing the Van Morrison tour of Ireland. And I got there early, and we got some time before we could get on stage and set up. And there was a pool table there, which is always good. Every venue should have a pool table. because then you can have a game of pool. And you see, I am a massive snooker fan, right? I'm not much of a sports fan, but I am a massive snooker fan. I did a gig a couple of years ago. It was just a covers gig, but when I got there, it was in this cricket club, and they got a full-size 12-foot snooker table. It was the best thing ever. It was the best thing. But it's nice to have a pool table. So we were just about to play pool, and this bloke walks up to me, and he says, he goes like, excuse me, do you know where Robert is? And I said, he's not here at the moment. He went, oh. I said I'd pop over and see him. Oh, well, we're going to have a game of pool. Do you fancy a game of pool? And he was like, okay, then all right then. So we went down this game of pool. We were playing away. I said, what's your name? What's your name? You know, what's your name? Like you do when you meet people, don't you? I'm Andy, what's your name? And he went, Roy. By this time, we were in the room with all the rest of the guys, and I didn't want to say, because as I looked at him, I realised it was Roy Harper. So I didn't say anything, and he never said anything. Now, this is quite surprising for a famous person, because you've got to understand, right? Most famous people are narcissists. You have to understand this. Most famous people, right? The world revolves around them, and they either go nuts and kill themselves, or they just get used to the fact that they should be there because they deserve to be famous, or some weird way of thinking. So they do tend to be narcissists, and they do have to sort of inflict their narcissism on everybody around them. But Roy Harper was not like that. He was very humble and friendly, and he had a good game of pool with us, and never turned around and said, or even intimated, like most famous people, he never went, well, actually, you need to know that I am actually Mr. Roy Harper, and I've got a track on a Led Zeppelin album, which is a tribute to me, where they say they're going to take their hats off to me. I don't bet you didn't know that, did you? And I would have said, I did know that, Roy, and it's the worst track on that bloody album. And in the future, 25 years in the future, I'm going to have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to say it. So don't get yourself on your big horse just because you got a name on the bloody Led Zepp album. I mean, it's an incredible thing to do, but he isn't, because he never mentioned it. I'm accusing him of doing things he hasn't done. So yeah, that's definitely the one on there. Right. So Led Zeppelin IV, or the Untitled album, or Four Symbols. This one here. Oh, I love that you get the old violet. You got that there. The Hermit. He's the Hermit. And you got this little fella here. Right, he's right, little. He's having a walk. I'm going to go and see the Hermit. I'm tiny compared to the big Hermit, you know. So you got all that going on. You open it up on the original. You had that nice, lovely. You know, I always imagined Robert Plant had done that, but now I'm older. It's obvious that he didn't do it. You get the calligraphy here. Lovely bit of calligraphy on this. And I'll show you something that's quite impressive. I know that it's faded over the last 40 years, but if you look at my copy, I have added my name in the same typeface. Can you see that there? And that's bloody small, that is. I've really done some work there with a bit bloody, fountain pens. I was really into my fountain pens. Right, this is one of the greatest albums ever made. I don't think there's a bad track on here. Some people do, though, don't they? And then if I choose, after talking about this album so many times, if I choose the album that everyone says is the worst track on here, then I'll be like agreeing with them, and they're wrong. Right, side one, there's not even both going there. Hang on, you know something. I'm going to be a bit contentious here with this one, because there's a track list for you. Black Dog, amazing. Rock and Roll. Battle of Evermore, amazing. Stairway to Heaven, amazing. Misty Mountain Hop, I love it. It's weird and amazing. Four Sticks, I'm not going to knock that. It's in 5/4. John Bonham's playing the drums with 2 sticks. 4 sticks, actually. That's why they called it that. Go to California, amazing. Listen to the middle section of that. It's just profound. When the Levee Breaks, bloody hell, this one's probably the best track ever made. It's Rock and Roll's the worst one on here. I hate it. I've hated it since I first heard it. I've always gone along with it. You know, Zeppelin will open up with it, and it's like one of the famous tracks. If you go to Spotify, it's probably in the top 5 ones that have been streamed. Been a long time to the rock and roll. I don't like it. It's all right, but I hate rock and roll pastiches. I hate it. I grew up at a time when we had like the darts and waddy, and any time anybody starts to do something like that, in the 70s. It's just dodgy. They shouldn't do it. Rock and roll is definitely the worst one on Led Zepp 4. If this video has any actual reason to exist, which I doubt, it's probably that I've established. It's not Misty Mountain Up. That's just too weird for you normal people. That's what that is. Right. At this point, on the next album, their fifth album, they decide for some reason, I've never understood why, but they knew what it was. They just thought, we're not going to call this one Led Zepp 5. You know, let's change it. Let's change it up a bit. Let's call it House of the Holy. So we get House of the Holy. And of course, this has got that little naked girl, and YouTube might not like that. So what I'll try and do is I'll show you it like that. Is that okay? In fact, I'll better do it like that. So, you know this album, I'm showing it you now. Yeah, this one, yeah. This is House of the Holy. Lovely bit of orange. We'll watch it. I don't want to get banned. There's the inside. I don't want to show you that. It's a naked man holding a lady. I mean, it's like bloody... It's like the Moloch worshippers, isn't it? This is. He's sacrificing her to some god. Isn't he? This is more Moloch worshipping. I'm going to get Moloch worshipping in on every single video I do. Let's pull out the inner sleeve, as you know. Let's get and pull this out, right? So we've got it all here. Now, I do believe this is the first album to feature all the lyrics. Right, side one. Song remains the same. I love that. Bam, bam, bam. Timpani. I had a dream. It's like all Martin Luther King here. A crazy dream. A weird chord from Jimmy. Anything I wanted to know. Any place I needed to go. He's having a dream that he can just go anywhere he wants. Well, Robert Plant can go anywhere he wants anyway, doesn't he? He just says to a minion, I'm going to fancy go to Singapore, get me some tickets, take me to the airport now, I'm going. I don't know where you didn't have to dream that. Hear my song. Everybody sing along. He says something like that. Any little song that you know. I don't know what I'm doing this for. It's because I got the lyrics. Everything that's small has to grow. When you're a little nipper and you're just hitting puberty and you've got Robert Plant and you've sat there watching Song Remains the Same every day, staring up his trousers, if you know what I'm saying, and you're sat there looking at that going, bloody hell. And then he comes on in a sort of almost like fatherly manner and says to you, everything that smalls has to grow. Oh, I hope so, Robert. Anyway. California sunlight, sweet coconut rain. On the lunar starbright, the time remains the same. No, he sped his voice up here, didn't he? See that Harry, that's the hoochie coo. City lights are also bright as we go sliding. So he's off and about, they're all off and about, aren't they? That's a bloody brilliant song. Then it all drops down to the rain song. Everybody loves the rain song. This is the springtime of my loving. The second season I am to know. You are the. He's gone all naturefied, hasn't he? This is the English aesthetic, you see. Robert stopped all the big bulgy trousers and screaming Harry at everybody. Now he's out, you know, and he's walking through a forest eating mushrooms with the ladies, isn't he? Brilliant stuff. Over the hills and far away. I love this. Hey, lady. Let's talk to the lady now. You've got the love I need. Or maybe more than enough. Oh, darling. He gets all folky there. He's all finger in the ear at that point, isn't it? Oh, darling. Walk a while with me. Oh, you've got so much. So much what? And they've done this. It's like, you know, when it's like a wiggly path. I love it. I love it so much. I love this album so much. But I'm going to try this. I mean, I'm married. I can't really try it, you know. But if I was younger, I could go, right, here we go. Let's have a go. Walk into the bar, go up to the lady. Hey, lady. Yes, what do you want? You've got the love I need, maybe more than enough. Oh, darling, darling, darling. I've got to do it then. Excuse me, missus, I'm just going to get all a bit sort of countrified now. Oh, darling, darling, darling. It's been brilliant stuff. Then we get the crunge. Now, I love the crunge. I know people don't like the crunge, but I love it because Bonham's off the charts. It's funky. The bass line's amazing. It's got odd-time signatures, and it's funny. They are. I mean, they're being funny, and they are funny on there. Anyway, that's a great side. There's nothing wrong with that. Dancing Days. Dancing Days is the closest they get to being a bit heavy. That's the only thing with this album. I think the rockers, they'll be like, where's the heavy riffs? Where's the heartbreaker riff? Dancing Days are here again as the summer evenings grow. He's all out in the summer sunshine, isn't he, on this album, Robert? He's all going out drinking cider and eating mushrooms and chatting to ladies. Crazy ways are evident in the way you're wearing your clothes. Supping Boozy's president as the evening starts to glow. I told your mama I'd get you home, but I didn't tell her I had no car. Double negative, Robert. I saw a lion, he was standing alone with a tadpole in a jar. I mean, the chances of that being the case is very slim, that those two animals would ever be seen in the animal kingdom together, but the idea that he's standing alone, how can he be alone if he's with a tadpole in a jar? Doesn't make sense, does it? Jamaica, a lot of people don't like this one. I like it. You don't. I really like this. You know, when I go through this album's fun. No Quarter, bloody sublime, and The Ocean, really good. Although it does have a bit of a rock and roll pastiche at the end, doesn't it? What's the worst track? What's the worst song on here then? I thought this was going to be easy. I like all of these. I don't know what to do. Oh, Jamaica, go on. Bloody Jamaica. Right. What have I got next on the list? This camera's got no power in it as well. It keeps running out. Every time I jerk, if I suddenly do that and there's a bit of dialogue missing, it doesn't quite make sense. You know, it's not some sort of French New Wave film technique I'm utilising on this. It's just the fact that the battery runs out. So it'll run out, and I have to wait for it to charge up again, and they'll start again. This video is... This is why I'm being so nonchalant and silly in it, because I have half of me thinks this will never see the light of day. Right. Physical Graffiti, the double album. Patched together like the Frankenstein that it is. Bits and bobs, all the leftovers from all the other albums. Like when your mom makes Bubble and Squeak after you've had a Sunday roast the following day. This is the Bubble and Squeak album. And what happens when you have Bubble and Squeak? Someone's like, oh, it's really nice, Mum. It's nicer than the roast. And your mom never sees that as a compliment. I was in the middle of a joke then. The camera ran out. I'm having a really bad day here. Anyway, we're on to Physical Graffiti. What's the worst song on here? There's too many to bloody go through, and there's some real rubbish ones on here. Right, I've always felt that the first disc is much stronger than the second disc. Custard Pie's amazing, The Rover's amazing, In My Time of Dying's amazing, House of the Holy. There's a pattern here. Amazing. Trampled Underfoot's amazing. Kashmir's amazing. None of that is going to make my list. But then we go to the other side. We've got In the Light, that's amazing. Bronny R, I love that. Down by the Seaside, I've never liked that. I hate it, in fact. But people who watch this channel, they like it. And I've never been that keen on 10 Years Gone, but it's way better than I remembered. I did a video where I said I really didn't like that, and I listened to it again. I thought, no, it's actually, it is like a little epic from Zeppelin. That's quite good. Night Flight, that's good. The Wonton Song, okay. Boogie with Stew, bloody, what the hell's that about? Black Country Woman's all right. Sick Again is great. Great end of the album, but the bloody lyrical content means we might want to stick that one in the bin. It's between Down by the Seaside and Boogie with Stew. I hate Down by the Seaside. It has to be Down by the Seaside. It's just wet and limp, and it just sounds... It's like... It just makes you want to unalive yourself, as they say on bloody YouTube. Down by the Seaside. I know people like that type of crap. I don't. I like music that's got a little bit of bite. Right now, the live album. Song remains the same. Opens up with Rock and Roll. We've already decided that's a crap song. Celebration Days, oh, that's good. Song remains the same is good. Rainstorm's good. Days Are Confused. This is better than the one on the Led Zeppelin in it, so that's good. No Quarters Amazing, Stairway to Heaven, great. Whole lot of love. They do all that rock and roll pastiche stuff. I quite like it in the context there because they're having fun on stage. It's bloody Moby Dick again. This Moby Dick on here. Look, I'll show you. Right? Let's show you. I'll show you. Look how many. Oh, I've got like sleeves here. I haven't played this album for so long. Right, so that's an album side. That's 20 minutes there. Right? That there, the bit I've got here, this bit here, and I know I'm touching the bloody record. I don't care. I touch my records. They're my records. Stop being so anal retentive. You know, bloody clean them or chuck them or listen to them on Spotify. I've only got them for bloody sentimental reasons. Look, that bit there, that's 10 minutes. 10 minutes of John Bonham prattling about on a couple of timpanis. Timpani. Right, it's Moby Dick. Moby Dick is a blight. It's a blight on Led Zeppelin. It should never have happened. Bill Ward, he had Rat Salad. Ian Pace had the Mule. Right? Ginger Baker had the Toad. They're all the animals that are represented in the 70s drum solos, aren't they? With Zeppelin, it's a whale, Moby Dick. And it's not a condition. Obviously, it could well mean that with Zeppelin. Obviously, they were out and about, you know, touring and, you know, and consorting with many ladies of the road, as King Crimson once described them. And you may have well gone down with a bit of Moby Dick. Only the British people understand that because of the word Moby. Well, Moby Dick is Cockney rhyming slang for sick. It doesn't quite work as a joke, as I get there. Yeah, Moby Dick's rubbish. I really wish Bonham had done something else. Just held some grooves down, not just do that blah, 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 over and over again. I'm going fast here because the camera's running out of power all the time. We've still got a bit of juice here. I'm having to stop, wait 20 minutes, have some orange juice, eat a sandwich. So I'm burping now. This is not good YouTubing. This is not good YouTubing, right? This really is like a fight to get this one done. You can't see it because it's all been edited, but I've been here for about 7 hours now trying to get this one done. Right. Presents. A lot of people don't like this album. I love it. I think it's one of their greatest albums. I love every track on here. I don't know what I'm going to pick at all, which is my least favourite one on here. Achilles' Last Stand, but you're not going to pick that one. That's brilliant, isn't it? For Your Life. Yeah. Royal Orleans, that's really great, that is. Nobody's Fault But Mine. I love Candy Store Rock. I love Hot Song for No One. I love T for One. I love Side 2. I know people don't. But I don't like For Your Life. It's just dirgy and trudges. How long does it go on for, that one? Oh, it's a sizable amount. It's there. Royal Orleans is cool. That's like really funky, that is. Now, it is. I'm surprised at that one. It just beamed at me. For Your Life is the worst one on this, on Presents, without a doubt. Right. Now, the next album, Through the Outdoor, we're going to have to search around for a track that's actually bloody good on here. This is a completely different thing. Now, look, this is my version of Even Through the Outdoor, right? And at some point, I have bought a copy of Kerrang, and they've had a little special on Led Zeppelin. I've cut out all the things, you know, the pictures out of it, cut them out, stuck them on with a Pritt stick, and then I've put some sort of plastic covering, sticky plastic thing, you know, sticky back plastic. I put some of that on there like that. We were really into sticky back plastic, my generation. It's all been forgotten now. So mine's ruined, but it's mine because I've got all those pictures of, and they've been there. They're not yellow. They've survived it. Of course, we pull it out. That's the version I've got. There's 6 versions of this cover. You open it up, you get the old Rupert the Bear bits where you can put the water on it and get the colours come out. Of course, I did that within about 3 minutes of buying the albums. That was a lot of fun I had, not realising it would devalue the album. I devalued it in every single way. Right, so here's the vinyl. Right, not as thick as the other ones I've been picking up. The old Song Remains the Same was really thick. This is a bit thin. In the Evening, that's good. Southbound Azores, yes, that's okay, yeah. Full in the Rain. Don't like it. Hot Dog, absolute shite. Carousel, that's good, goes on for too long. All of My Love, brilliant, love it. I'm Gonna Crawl. I used to hate that track, but I had a chat with JCM when I looked at this album in my looking into each album, series that I did. This video's terrible. Sometimes I'm really good though, aren't I? Admit it. And I do put a video out every day. And so you can't moan, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good, I don't censor myself. It's all warts and all here, it's warts and all. This one is definitely Hot Dog. What did they do it for? I never understood why they put Hot Dog on that album. Right, so we're up to the last one now, thank God. Let's even just get through this. The battery says it's still half done. I've had to sit here waiting for the thing to charge up to get it done. I thought, I don't want to not do it. And I thought, remember what you just said, and then you get there and you've done potted about, you can't remember what you've said. If you decide to do this with me and say, what are the 10 worst videos Andy's ever made, this is one of the ones you've got to put on the list. This is rubbish, but you might be being entertained by this. I'm trying to cover the ineptitude as best I can with humour. It's a very British thing, that is. Right, Coda. I really like this album. Look at that. That's, if you're a Led Zeppelin fan in 1982 when this album comes out and you buy this, you think, oh, the cover's a bit bloody, I don't know, it's a bit minimal, a bit 80s. Don't expect this from Led Zeppelin. We thought we'd have Hypnosis. Is this covered by Hypnosis? They really could not be arsed. They just took the money, didn't they? But look at that. Look at all of that there. Brilliant. Led Zeppelin, I used to love looking at that. Let's open it up. I've got this special artwork thing because this is out the box set. I couldn't actually find my original copy. Can you see the difference? See the difference? Old Robert Plant gave me this one. He gave me a couple of box sets for some work I'd done for him. And he said, "You want to grab a couple of box sets?" I said, "Oh yes, please." And I bought Coda because I thought Coda's going to have the most odd bits on it. So I grabbed it. We're Gonna Groove is amazing. Poor Tom is amazing. I Can't Quit You Baby, that's better than the Led Zeppelin 1. Walter's Walk's amazing. Side 1's amazing. You've seen how they always put good stuff on side 1 so they get weird on side 2. Then we get Ozone Baby, Darlene and Wearing and Tearing. They're all outtakes from In Through the Outdoor. All three of them are better than tracks on In Through the Outdoor, even though Darlene is bloody horrible. But I prefer it to anything on there. Bonzo's Montreux, that should be Moby Dick. That's a bloody drum solo, Mr. Bonham. That's how you do it. Unsurpassable. Incredible. So, let's recap again, shall we? So, what was I going to remember all this? I haven't written it down. So, Led Zeppelin 1, it was You Shook Me. All night long. That bit when he falls down the lift shaft. Led Zeppelin II, it was Moby Dick. Led Zeppelin III, it was Hats Off to Harper. Led Zepp 4, it was Rock and Roll. House of the Holy, I decided to put Jamaica in, but reluctantly. Physical Graffiti, it was Down by the Seaside. Song Remains the Same as Moby Dick again. Presence, it was For Your Life. Is that what it's called? I can't even remember the title of that. I'm doubting myself now. God, this is rubbish, Andy. Absolute rubbish YouTubing. You see, I can't even find it now. Where's it gone? The great big white one here. That's the one. I'm getting more and more confused by this video. It's like ganging up on me. For Your Life. Why did I have to go through all that then? I do apologise for this. This video is not very good. I do apologise for it. I will put it up. I will put it up so that you know that I'm an honest man, a decent man, and I will represent what I do, the work here that I do. Every day I turn up and I work. I do my YouTube videos. Some of them are really involved. Some of them aren't so involved. And, you know, I've just been working on this one on George Benson. We've had a full band in here. I've had to mix it, bloody master it. I've had to edit bloody all these different camera angles together, try and get it in. See, it's all been a big lot of work on that one. It's sort of taken away from the quality of this one, you know. Oh, yeah, and then In Through the Outdoor, Hot Dog, and then Darlene. Now, it will be interesting to create that into a best of, but it wouldn't be the best of. It would be called Led Zeppelin, The Shite Songs, The Collection. No, Led Zeppelin, Shite, The Collection. That would be the best name for this. But you might find when you collect them all together that they're not going to, it's not going to be that good. And you know why? Because at least you could listen to Hot Dog and go, why, what were they thinking? But it still goes along. It's still a jolly little song. No, what would ruin that album is the 2 Moby Dicks on there, right? 1 Moby Dick's enough. Okay, 1 Moby Dick is enough. 2 is absolutely pointless. It's pointless. Now, if there are Moby Dick fans here, and I'm not talking about the that's great, that bit. I don't mind that bit. But if anyone's a fan of the actual, I love drum solos. I'm a drummer, but I don't like that one. So that's where we're at. So don't bother putting a like on this one or subscribing. This is not the best. This is what happens when you try and copy bloody Martin Popoff and then copy bloody Scott at the prog corner. You know, it's like, what am I following these people for? What are you doing it for, Andy? Why? What you doing this? Have you not got any ideas? You've got ideas, right? You've got ideas. It's just that you think you should be doing something that people might click on, and you think, this is why this exists. Oh, that's working. People like that. It's your fault. It's your fault. Click on something that's a bit more esoteric. Yeah, put subscribe on it. Do the notification bell. Stop just turning up when I'm doing the 10 worst underpants worn by progressive rock bands in the 1980s or whatever it is. And I know as I say that, some of your ears pricked up. So that's where we're at with this one, right? Go away, you lot, and have a good think about what you're doing with your life and what you're turning up here for. And then I'll do some proper stuff where I utilise my... I'm slumming it doing this. I'm slumming it. Neil Sedaka died yesterday. A really great songwriter. I'm not a fan of his stuff, but one night I stopped up and there was a little interview with him. He was at the piano and he started to explain his songwriting approaches. The guy was bloody brilliant. And he explained the cliches of songwriting and how he took these cliches and he adapted them into new ideas, you know. Very interesting, a great guy. I think he was in his 80s. So I put that up in the background. If you watched it to the end of the video, you could be chuffed with yourself if you noticed it and said, yeah, Andy's done his own little tribute there. That was my tribute to Neil Sedaka. I love Led Zeppelin. This was a hard one to do. I need to pick a band I don't like next, you know, and go through theirs. But I ain't got the albums, you see. I want to be able to sit there and reason it out in front of you so you see the reasons. I like to show me workings. I thought, I'll show me workings on this. They might find that quite interesting, how my mind works, how I decide these things. But in the end, you know, they really should have had a little bit, at least a bloody list of what I was doing. But that's the way it is. That's the way I've apologised enough. But it's your fault. It's your fault. Start clicking on something better so I start doing that rather than this nonsense. Thanks for watching.